Hi everybody, we are going to get started with June Club Q. These are some of my favorite pages because they are travel pages and I love to travel. And if you know Patsy, she is the big traveler in the family. We do tour groups. She takes tour groups all over the world. So if you get onto our website at shopquickquotes.com, you can see what tours we have coming up. If you love to travel, love to do these kind of pages, come travel with us. Patsy would love to have you at one of the trips. And I'm still pulling my stuff together here. We are going to get started. We always suggest different inks that work. We have 2 different blues, 2 different browns, actually 3 different browns on here. So you choose what works for you. We have suggested Capri Blue, Denim, Mocha Mama, Mahogany, and Amaretto. So you just kind of decide what works for you. Mahogany has some red in it. Mocha Mama is more like a truer brown. You decide what works for you. I am going to get out my trimmer and we will do the cutting first. So on the other side of this is one cutting diagram, really simple cutting diagram. We're going to do that one first. So we will cut the 4 3/4 by 9 1/4. I'm going to put it in here at 4 3/4. And trim, and then I'm going to turn it to 9 1/4 and trim that. So with this kit you get tons of extra pieces. This kit is very simple, not lots of layering, just lots of spaces for photos, but you get lots of extra pieces in this kit. And a lot of this is extra, so you can save it, throw it away. What I am going to do is actually put the corners together here. I'm going to trim it into a tag to use on another layout at some point. So lots of extra ones for you in this kit. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And then we need a 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So I'm going to put this back in lengthwise here at 4 1/2. I'm going to trim that. And then 6 1/2. And you can decide which side of the paper you want to use. There's a lighter side and a darker side. This is kind of like clouds. I think I'm going to use the darker side and cut that at 6 1/2. So 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. This piece we will put in at 4 1/2 and trim, and then turn it again and do 3 inches. So again, you have these leftover little pieces. You can make little tags out of them, use them for a different page, or just scrap them, throw them away. Here's an extra piece. Oh no, this is the piece that we actually use, so hang on to that one. This is the piece that comes out of the middle, so this is a good usable piece for another page also. I like to save those kind to be able to add either tags or something to this page or make another page. Okay, and as far as cutting diagrams, we are done. The only other thing we are going to need to do is trim out your words that we're going to use. So go ahead and take the time to do that. Pause the video if you want to. One thing I want to mention, this piece, you just want to cut all the way around the outside. You don't need to cut individually. It's too hard to glue under the frame if you do that. So go ahead and take the time to trim these out in your little journaling piece. And I am going to get my background papers. Move this out of the way. So So these two papers were printed specifically for this kit. This isn't one that is in the paper pack for this line, which this line is, we do have the paper pack on the website right now. Gosh, I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden. See the World. So if you would like this paper pack, it is on our website, and you can have it sent with your next Club Q kit, and this one is called See the World. We've used pieces of it before in Club Q, but this time we had paper made just for this kit, and we're using bits and pieces of See the World Paperline. Okay, so you can go ahead and punch out your die cuts as well. One thing I want to mention is once you take the middles out of here, you can save any of these pieces. The only ones that I know that you will be using, but that makes a cute little tag too. So once you're done with this kit, it's not a ton of pieces that go onto this kit. It's a pretty simple kit, but it gives you lots of extra pieces to work with for another page. So this actually goes on page 2. I'm just gonna kind of lay these out where they go. And where's my other piece to, oh, here we go. Okay, when you punch these out, you can see these squares right here. Those we actually fold over to use for tabs, so you want to save these small squares. We're going to use those as little tabs. Oops. On the top of your photo mats. And all these other ones, we had them stay in there so that you can use them again on another page. In our instructions, we actually put a piece of paper behind some of these frames just so that you could see what it would look like if you just we just put those as little placeholders. So if you want to, you can, oops, what's going on here? There we go. If you want to, you can use these in the frame still and just flip them over and use a different side, or use the wood side. This is actually how it's going to go on the page. But you can see in our sample here, these have wood pieces behind there. If you want to use wood pieces, you definitely can. You just take one of these and you can slide it back under there. But this really is meant for lots of pictures, or you can put a little quote in some of these, but this frame is to be used with lots of pictures. So I'm not even going to put that in there. The thing that I'm going to start with on this page is actually this piece right here that I just talked about, and it just slides in and matches up right behind there. So I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. What did I do with it here? And that's why I like this glue for projects like this, because you need just a little bit around the edges. So what I'm going to do is just put a couple little dots here around the edge. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a few dots around the edge. And then I'm going to place this on here so that each piece is centered. And the thing about this glue is it dries clear, so I see it got some there. That'll dry clear. You don't have to worry about it. And all these other places are really meant for pictures. If you want to add some pattern paper or something behind it, you definitely can. But what I would do for each picture I would place this right on top of your picture, and I put, let's see, let me see if I have a sample here. So this you could, I have behind here in the photo, but this you can actually put right over top of your picture, trace it, and then you cut your picture out to this size and it'll fit right in behind there. Or if you wanted to, if you want some of this blue to show, you can cut a picture that is even smaller and goes in there, and then it has like a blue border. But that's an easy way to go, is to actually take this piece, lay it on your photo, trace it, and then cut it out, and it fits right behind there perfectly. Okay, so we do have two of these, just like in the photo. You can chalk them up if you want to. You can use these so that they show, or you can use photos. I'm going to actually chalk up my journaling piece a little bit around the edges. Not a lot of it shows, so I'm not going to do too much of it. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue around there. And if you like the more vintage rustic colors, you can use one of the browns that we suggested. And this fits right in between, or behind this piece here. I actually trimmed mine a little bit too small. Actually, it fits perfectly. Okay. You can either have the bag showing down here, or you can move it down so that you see the little compass at top and trim that off the bottom. I'm going to have the bag showing. Okay, and then on page 2, so this is so simple. On page 2, chalk these up like you want them. I'm going to use blue. Feel free to use the browns if you want more of a vintagey look. And I just put a little on here just for a little extra dimension, chalky look. This one is actually Blue Lotus. So this is in our new ink pack. And this is going to go towards the bottom, just above this little comma. And earlier I said to use the wood parts here that came out of here, but I lied. Don't use those because they go here. So I designed this like a month ago, and I haven't picked it up since, so I forgot how I actually did this. But now I remember use those there. This piece is actually what we used. We cut down the middle, and then we put it behind these two places here. So if you cut these down the middle at 3 inches, you can slide them behind here. And I forgot about that because I was just thinking about putting pictures in there. So you do you. You do whatever works for you. But I'm sorry if I messed you up in the beginning. I did not mean to. These pieces go over here. And if for some reason I did and you used 2 of these pieces, you can always use these over here. It's not going to make a big difference because once you get photos on there, you just see a little bit of the brown anyway. Okay, and then the words that you cut out, the biggest word, adventures, will go in your big frame. Chalk that up if you choose to. I love this new Blue Lotus color. Might be a new favorite. And I'm just going to put a little bit around the edges here. Don't need a lot. This Barely Art glue is amazing. I love it. You don't need a lot. It gives you just a second to kind of get things in place, and then it dries permanent. Add a little blue to these also. I think my sample, I actually made a little more vintagey brown colors. I'm doing this one. I'm going to add lots of blues to this one. And last one. I just like this soft blue chalky look that it gives. Put a little bit in the corners. Our last frame. Feel free to pause at any point if you need to catch up a little bit. And then we have a little bag full of brads. We try to stay organized with our little embellishments. We put them in the little packet for you so they're not easily lost. And those just go in the ends of each of the frames. And it doesn't have to go through the paper, through this paper. You just put it on here and it gives it the look that it's going through the paper, but it's easier to just put it on here and then glue your frame down. And nobody will ever know the difference. I think some of our kits actually used a few different color blues or teal color brads. So whatever is in your packet will match and look nice. Okay, and then we have our 4.5 by 6.5. I'm going to chalk that up a little bit around the edges. Add a little dimension to that. Glue that down. And in our sample, we have it lined up with the blue piece below it. And then once you get your picture on, that's when you will place these guys and glue them down. Because you don't want to cover up your photo. And a lot of times I actually do just kind of lay things out on my page. And then when I get photos in, I may have to rearrange a little bit because I don't want to cover up the photos or the special part of the photo. So I haven't glued these down yet, and one reason is we are going to use these little squares as tabs, just little decorative tabs. So we fold those in half. Actually, I'm going to chalk this map paper with blue also. That looks really pretty. In the sample, I used amaretto, mocha, and mahogany, kind of a mixture to make it look kind of vintagey, but totally up to you. I think I may have used, is it denim? I forget which blue. Yeah, denim. Right now I'm using Blue Lotus, but the denim gives it a little more of a darker blue on there. Okay, so we will put our little tabs on. Just pick each one of these up and they go And again, you can wait until your photos are in there so you're not covering up any of the space where you need to add a photo. If you want to put these higher, lower, totally up to you. Fold these in half. And you can chalk these up too if you like. But each one gets a tab. And I put mine a little less than 1/4 of an inch from the top to where the tab goes on. But do what works for your photos. And once you get photos in here, this is a super simple kit that holds, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 photos. You could probably put one right in there too. Super easy way to make room for lots of photos. Ta-da! And we're done. Very easy kit, lots of room for photos. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have the perfect trip pictures to put in here. Thanks so much for being a Club Q member, and we will see you next time.